would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Hey guys, Robert and Ingrid here. We're here with the final Showa movie, and good lord!
Wow, that was something else.
Best human story, hands down.
Best human story. Ishiro Honda is back to form, making me feel things again.
And Godzilla, good God, Godzilla, is he ever back to form? I don't think we've seen him this monstrous in a long time. And I mean that in all regards. Monstrous.
Oh, yeah.
But he doesn't even show up until near the end.
It's just like,
you realize that?
We'd be complaining about that fact, but the actual plot that's there is
this is
engaging enough that it's hard to miss it.
Yeah, I'll say this is the most egregious as far as being mostly human story. And this side of except for Shin Godzilla, this has the most egregiousness of being mostly human. Can we agree to that?
Yeah, we can agree to that much.
Like 60% human, wouldn't you agree? 60%? But you needed that setup. You needed that build-up because Mechagodzilla is still getting repaired. You had to introduce the new monster and everything, and you had to set up the plot behind it. Well, let's put it this way. The space apes are back, but we never see them as apes.
Yeah, they don't actually need to be apes for this one because they're sort of like a catalyst background force for the human plot to happen.
Yep, and
it's all a whole mess of scientific ethics.
Exactly. I mean, basically we're introduced to this scientist who long ago, back in between the time of the first Godzilla and Raids Again, if you take into account that 20 years ago would be about that time, he found a monster and people mocked him for it. They're like, giant lizards, there was already one and it's gone. You know what I mean? And they mocked him for it. I mean, nowadays it'd be like, oh, sweet. But back then, oh, yeah, sure, old man, sure. And unfortunately, I feel bad. Now that I feel bad for him, but...
Yeah, it's just like, there are so many cases where scientists end up discovering something before their time, and it's only long after their time that they actually get appreciated for it. But this is just sort of a case where, hey... Now people are interested in that discovery for all of the wrong reasons.
Unfortunately, though, you also have the stuff going on with his daughter. You add all of that. It's no wonder the guy snapped. And when the apes give him, offer him something, he takes it. No question asked. I don't blame him.
Yeah, it's just like, you're kind of backed into a wall at that point, and it's just like, and you can tell that he was really not fond of it, because he, says as much later on in the movie.
But the thing is, though, you do sympathize with him, but not that much, I'll be honest.
It's just like, on the one hand, it's just like, yeah, I get it, you love your daughter. On the other hand, there's also the rest of humanity, dude!
I know he's probably thinking F humanity, but really... But
yeah, it's just like understandable, but not necessarily sympathetic.
But the thing I felt the saddest for was our second monster, Titanosaurus.
Oh,
that was the true victim.
This is just the collateral damage on two legs.
I mean, I know. I mean, basically, Titanosaurus was just a normal monster. Very powerful. Very powerful.
just chilling at the bottom of the ocean doing its thing, and they even say explicitly early on that, hey, it's pretty docile and will probably not bother you if you don't bother them.
But it's still dangerous, though. It's like, it's a very powerful monster, probably one of the more powerful ones.
It's just that normally its attitude wouldn't lead it to being too destructive, until, of course, say it with me again, someone else gets control of it.
Exactly, and basically, now in this case, last movie you had Kong and Caesar, Godzilla and Caesar versus Mechagodzilla. Not here. Now it's Godzilla all alone. He has no one help against two powerful foes, one of which already defeated him.
Mm-hmm.
And this Godzilla, he's vicious. We are back to the force of nature Godzilla.
Uh-huh. Godzilla as Ishiro Honda originally imagined him.
Yep. And when he shows up, it reminds me so much of what we'll see in later movies when we get to the Millennium Era, where he is almost unstoppable.
Oh boy!
Yep, and now, once the monster... Now, Mechagodzilla is rebuilt and everything, better than ever. And once he goes through and everything, we get to fight. Now, humanity ends up helping out.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing that was sort of like, because the Doctor was kind of conscripted to work on Mechagodzilla, as a side effect, he knows a bit more about how he works to be able to help take him down.
That's true, but also how to free Titanosaurus from his control.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say what really makes me sympathize with Titanosaurus is his roar.
Oh yeah, it sounds a little bit more like an elephant.
An elephant mixed with a dolphin.
Yeah, both two creatures that we generally tend to think of as, generally vibing unless they're bothered. Exactly,
and... Okay, first of all, the fight. The fight is good. Not as good as the last movie, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was definitely Hondo's one of his weakest fights, I think. Because there's way too much close-up shots. Way too much, right in their chest and everything. It's like...
Yeah, dude, you didn't get to see the full extent of the suit work in this one.
Yeah, like, pull back, dude. Pull back. And, again, the fight is in the last act entirely. The one and only fight is in the last act, but it makes up for it. Big time.
Oh yeah, it's just like, it is absolutely brutal.
No magnetic powers, no nothing.
It's just a knockdown, drag-out fight.
Yep, and then when Godzilla rips off Mechagodzilla's head again, this time it comes off like a boop, and there's a laser beam underneath, and Godzilla's like, what the? Tosses it down like...
What is that thing?
I know, he just looks at the other head, he just tosses it like, seriously? But then I lose sympathy with Godzilla. After Titanosaurus is free, and Titanosaurus, he's running like, I'm out of here, and Godzilla's like, the hell you are, and he takes him down. It's like, dude, I'm sorry, I felt bad for Titanosaurus. You could so tell he was like, let me go, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I felt bad for Titanosaurus too. It's just like, he was just minding his own business, and he got dragged up in this mess, and now he's getting his life ended more or less by Godzilla because he was pissed off and he couldn't understand the whole moral concept, or at least didn't give a frick about actually.
I think it's the last one. I think he didn't care. He's just like, hey, you came after me. I don't care. You're going down. I got a reputation to keep. You know what I mean? But also the human side, and so tragically.
Yeah, it's just like...
The daughter revived, or whatever she was, died.
But she was brought back as a cyborg, and there's sort of a question of, hey, is she even human anymore?
Yep, and then she had to die completely because Mechagodzilla's brain was in her chest.
Yeah, it's just like...
That was convenient.
Damn, man! You're ripping out my heart along with that.
Oh, and then the father uses a human shield and shot.
It's just like, what the frick?
Yep. And then Godzilla uses Titanosaurus as a human shield, and he takes out the aliens once and for all. But, yeah, and then Mechagodzilla goes down. It felt like a bit of, I would say this, the ending was not as epic as the last one.
Yeah, it was a lot more melancholy, but that sort of fits the mood of this movie as a whole. Like, this isn't supposed to be a knockout monster fight. It's supposed to be something a bit more reflective and looking at deeper questions, much like the original Godzilla movie was.
Exactly, just like Ishiro. Unfortunately, and this is the biggest crime, it is one of, if not the lowest grossing Godzilla movie.
Yeah, if that isn't gonna kill your creative spirit, I don't know what else is.
And that's why after this they go on a hiatus. But overall, though, this is one of our all-time faves.
Yeah, it's just like, it's not just a movie, it's something more than a movie.
And it's a good farewell. It is a
Yeah, it is a good farewell. It ends right how it started.
Yep, it ends with
big
Godzilla.
monsters serving as metaphors for the things that plague humanity of its day.
And Godzilla being one tough son of a bitch.
Oh yeah.
So tomorrow, and this is us going over the last movie, but tomorrow we'll be doing a retrospective, going over everything about what we saw about the Showa, like what we did with the Gamera movies. Who knows how long this will be, but probably long.
Oh yeah, since there are a lot more movies to cover this time.
Definitely. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.